Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Roberto Corona. I am an anthroposopher and astrologer. And in this video, we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So in this picture here, you can see the orbit traced by Mercury from a geocentric perspective from the Earth. And as you can see, it creates 3 rings in the sky. And this happens 3 times a year and lasts roughly 3 weeks each. So highlighted in white are the points where Mercury makes a conjunction with the Sun. It can be a superior conjunction or an inferior conjunction, and this creates a beautiful pattern, which is this 6-pointed star in the sky, which is quite beautiful, and it is the star of Mercury. So what's special about this year is that Mercury will create these stations rings in all 3 the Earth signs. And for this reason, we can say that Mercury, in this sense, will create an elemental triangle of Earth. Now, this is a detailed list with the dates of Mercury retrograde during the year. And as you can see, this year, Mercury stopped in Capricorn first, then in Taurus, and now we reached the station ring in Virgo. That goes from August 23 to September 15. And another special things about 2023 is that it started with a Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and it is going to end with a Mercury retrograde in Capricorn as well. And this is basically giving an extra oomph to the Earth element. This also means that in general, the issues that Mercury retrograde is going to bring are going to be about the Earth element as well. So let's take a look at Mercury's main steps. So this is the stationary loop that Mercury is creating, and I chose this lemniscate symbol to represent it. And here you have the main dates. So we start here with Mercury direct, entering this orange line here, and that's the so-called shadow zone. From a classic perspective, this means that Mercury is slowing down and it is accumulating an accidental debility. Then Mercury is going to reach on August 23 the first station, happening at 2151 Virgo, and then it is going to turn retrograde, and following this red line here, going back to 8 degrees Virgo, reaching its second station. Then it is going to turn direct again, and it is going to leave the shadow zone for good only from September 30th. So what does Mercury retrograde mean? What is it all about? So Mercury rules, as we know, thinking, the mind, communication, but also networking, streets, public transportation, anything really creating a network. And for this reason, Mercury retrograde creates delays, slowdowns, misunderstandings, and everything concerning Mercury stop working well, basically. And this is because the cosmic mind turns inwardly. And this means that every time we ignore that and instead of turning our attention within, we insist wanting to deal with the outside world, we get frustrated by the world because Mercury wants us to focus more on the inside. And for this reason, this transit is very good when it comes to introspection or inner work, because this energy allows us to turn our minds inwardly. And this way we can better understand and resolve internal rather than external issues. So if we keep wanting to direct these energies out and we insist, we will find it a little bit difficult to do it because it's like swimming against the current, so to speak. And this is happening in Virgo. So this means that in general, all the significations of Virgo are going to be part of the equation, so to speak. So Mercury retrograde in Virgo focuses on our relationship with work, with productivity, which is symbolized here by this wheel, which, by the way, it is broken. And this means that this Mercury retrograde is favorable for rethinking or questioning our work processes to make them more efficient. So what we can expect from this Mercury is to knock some gears off, so to speak, because in this regard, it wants our attention there. And if everything works smoothly, we're not going to do it. And this is why Mercury creates frustration. So Virgo is also connected with our habits, perhaps habits that have become dysfunctional in a way. And Mercury retrograde brings us this general theme of rethinking our habits, making us confronting the consequences of bad habits. And since Virgo is also the zodiac sign of medicine, this can be related to health issues, health aspects, or talking about bad habits, for example, quitting smoking. And from this point of view, Mercury can give us little signs concerning our health, nothing too serious because this is a short transit, but it can put us on the right path. And in general, let's say that the main keyword of Virgo, being this zodiac sign of mutable Earth, is functioning. So Mercury leads us here to rethink things so that they can start working better, so that we can fix them. And maybe we can change them so they get even more efficient and we are going to be even more productive. All things that Virgo holds dearly. So this is an animation in loop of the movement of Mercury turning retrograde. So what's interesting is that Mercury here is catching up with Mars, as you can see, making a conjunction which is not going to perfect, and then it stops, reaching the first station. And at that point, it is already making a long trine with Uranus, this green line connecting Mercury and Uranus that you can see here. And this trine is not going to perfect as well. So Mercury is basically starting out things, but it is not going to finish them. And this is very typical of a Mercury retrograde transit. But overall, this process is also good because it features 3 trines with Jupiter, which we're going to talk about. So we definitely are going to have the opportunity to make things right. What struck me personally is that as I was analyzing this transit, I was looking at Mercury, recognizing a lot of gestures very similar to what Venus has done and has been doing, because as we know, Venus turned retrograde. And Venus was catching up with Mars as well, not perfecting a conjunction with Mars. And by the way, Venus is making squares with the same planet, with Jupiter, 3 squares. And this is so interesting because they are going to be both retrograde at the same time from August 23rd to September 4th. And they are close enough to involve, if you're using a quadrant house system such as Placidus, they can involve the same area of life, the same house. So this is very, very interesting because it means that not only our feelings represented by Venus, but also our intellect is basically rethinking, reevaluating things. So you can watch my video about it, the video of Venus retrograde in Leo, to learn more. And you're going to definitely find some similarities with this Mercury retrograde. Now, in terms of fixed star, there's an important star involved here, and that is Denebola. So here in this picture, you can see Mercury in the zodiac sign of Virgo, right? And it is aligned with this star. This is the ecliptic, so the conjunction, of course, is referring to an ecliptic conjunction. So basically, this star, as you can see, is the tail of the starry image of the lion. And so, as you know, we don't have a unique tradition when it comes to fixed stars. However, Ptolemy attributed to it the qualities of Saturn and Venus. So in general, this can be a quite problematic star, given its Saturn in nature. But on the other hand, the nature of Venus potentially gives her a benefic influence as well. But I want to emphasize the term potentially, right? So this is not something we can take for granted. So my perspective is that this starry image of the tail of the lion really is suggesting to stop and looking back, because it is the tail. So revisiting situations instead of proceeding, not going forward, but rather thinking before acting. And this conjunction is taking place when Mercury stops, right, performing this trine with Uranus, which instead, we know Uranus, this planet pushes us to a gamble usually, right? Because it's it is a revolutionary planet. It has to do with changing things suddenly. So my advice is don't do it. Since the star can bring disasters, it is a star of catastrophes as well. So it is better to slow down and not to gamble too much. So here you can see the aspects of Mercury during August and September. So as we said, we have two of them not perfecting. So we have two red arrows here pointing at these two aspects. The first, as we mentioned, is the conjunction between Mercury and Mars. Mercury is slowing down and Mars is moving on. However, they are close enough, within 4 degrees, to make a conjunction. And since Mars is a malefic planet, I do believe that things are going to not working properly from this week, the week of August 15, until Mercury is going to stop for good on the 23rd and creating this trine with Uranus. Now, which is not, by the way, going to perfect completely as well. More or less, we have the 80% of this aspect taking place. So usually these two planets, they are friends because they can work together very well. Uranus is a planet of technology, a planet of thinking, and this is very compatible with Mercury, especially with a Mercury in Virgo. However, Mercury stops. And this means that it is not going to work well. But it's like this, having a trine from this planet, which is the planet of electricity, the planet of thunder, pushing Mercury to do it anyway. So it's like this trine is burning out Mercury, so to speak, or wanting Mercury to function even though Mercury can't do it. So in my opinion, this trine is going to be problematic in terms of an excess of energy. So the star, Denebola, as well as the trine with Uranus are telling the story about exaggeration, right? This is the term. So you want to resist this temptation and stop rather than going for it, because this is how we make mistakes. And with a Mercury retrograde, or even worse, in Mercury stopping, reaching the station, this is going to lead us where we don't want to be. So don't do it. And this can also be, in terms of mental energy, a burnout. So I would say that the week from August 15 to the 23rd is the burnout week. So be aware of that and spare your energies. So the good news is that we have 3 trines with Jupiter, and Jupiter is a benefic planet, even though the receptions are not like brilliant, because Mercury is in Virgo, and which is the zodiac sign where Jupiter is in detriment. So we have 3 of them. We have 3 trines happening in the week of August 10, September 4, and September 25. And the best, I think it's the second one, so the September 4, because Mercury is far away from this weird trine with Uranus, and so these 3 moments are represent the 3 weeks where we can set things right, basically, where we can fix things, because Jupiter is a benefic planet, and it is a planet that allows us to create this Taurus stability. I'm saying Taurus because Jupiter is in Taurus. And so this is the good moment to do it, to make things right. But we also have to accept that we need to rethink the process. We need to put some extra effort to fix it. Otherwise, this trine can also go against us, because in this way, if we don't accept to take responsibility and make things right, if we don't do it, this is the right moment for, I would call it, a misplaced optimism. And so we force our hand, we have this excess of trust, and things are not going to work. And it is going to be a little disaster. So remember to be present and to analyze the situation well, take your time and fix things. This is what this transit, this is how this transit can become useful. So, as always, in order to see in which area of life Mercury retrograde is going to manifest for you specifically, you want to check 21 and 8 degrees Virgo in your natal chart. And again, the most intense dates. So we have the week from August 15 to the 23rd, which is the most delicate. And we have the 3 dates in which we have the opportunity to fix things. And we have August 11, September 4, and September 25. So as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell not to miss out on future astrological insights. I am Roberto Corona. See you in the next video.